Hello folks, this is Steve AB4L. It's a beautiful Sunday out there. I'm going to get outside. I was just sitting here relaxing. Now, nothing in this episode is a promotion nor is it a recommendation. I was just browsing through some of my regular tabs. The big news as of yesterday was tariffs. Canada, Mexico, China. Yeah, see, trade war begins. Trump slaps tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, triggers immediate retaliation. Now that's international trade, commercial trade. But what caught my eye was the next article. USAID website goes dark as Trump reportedly plans to shift agency under State Department. Shift it under the State Department? Well, where is it now? Now, a long time ago in the early 90s, I worked for a short while in Mexico at a place called CIMMYT. CIMMYT. Empowering, like exploring azolla farming as scaling conservation agriculture based on sustainable intensification in Ethiopia. They're interested in maize, which we call corn, but the Brits, when you say corn, it doesn't mean maize. It's the cutting-edge, non-profit international organization dedicated to solving tomorrow's problems today. Maize and wheat improvement. The Spanish for those letters is what it says. $3.5 to $4 million annually generated on benefits. 69 maize, 62 wheat varieties resulting from our work in just 2022. These are locally adapted. They have a staff of over 1,000. Now, why did I do that? Let's change the search. See, this is based on ancient knowledge on my part, but I'm almost certain they get some of their money from USAID. So the search is CIMMYT, which is an independent organization headquartered in Mexico, Estado de Mexico, on the Veracruz of Mexico City Highway, just outside of Mexico City DF, District Federal. CIMMYT, this is a CIMMYT article. United States Agency for International Development, USAID. See, I'm telling you who they are, because we're looking at something about them. USAID website goes dark as Trump reportedly plans to shift agency under State Department. So I'm using a connection I know of from 40 years ago, and it's still valid. USAID and CIMMYT's AID-I project, Women in Rural Tanzania are Overcoming Adversity, Pioneering Seed Production. That implies that the reason why they can't grow good crops is that there's no seed company supply, and they don't know how to actually grow and fertilize. United States Agency International Development, all themes, capacity development, climate adaptation, and mitigation, dryland crops, environmental. This is all on CIMMYT. Southern Africa Accelerated Innovation Delivery Initiative with USAID and CIMMYT AID Project Women in Rural Tanzania again. Okay, so that's where some of the USAID money goes. There's the greenhouses, how to grow the plants from seed. We can see a YouTube video. There's the maize. It's dried down, ready for harvesting. Visit a demonstration plot in Zambia. I knew people back then, like when I was at NC State, a gal was in Lesotho, which is an enclave country in South Africa. She was in the Peace Corps. I met a guy when I was traveling in '66 in Tunisia. He had just finished his stint in Ghana. And he was doing a little more traveling while he was overseas before he went home. He had been in the Peace Corps for 2 years. I've known 5 or 6 people. Ag-related Peace Corps assignments. In those cases, primarily in Africa. Emphases change. So I'm looking at this from the standpoint of just CIMMYT. You can see that there's cooperation there. I knew that because I worked there, and I knew people who were funded by USAID. But it says USAID website goes dark. USAID. Looks like it's got some news items. AP News, USAID security leaders on leave after trying to keep Doggy from CNN. Senior USAID security officials put on leave after refusing. So it's something about security. What would a civilian level money have to do with security? USAID security leaders on leave after trying to keep Doggy from classified information? You mean about how to grow seeds in Tanzania for maize or beets or whatever? See, they're the seeds. RUSF, pardon me, USAID del Pueblo de los Estados Unidos de America. So they got stuff that they distribute in Spanish. The Trump administration has placed 2 top security chiefs. Wait a minute. What did I read yesterday? Defense Secretary revokes security detail and clearance for Trump critic General Mark Milley. Trump's canceling of 50 security clearances is unprecedented. Oh, Brennan! Yeah, Brennan! There he is. Bizarre, ex-CIA, security, ex-CIA director. He's a civilian now in all respects. Revoking security clearances means that there are places where those guys can no longer walk in and cannot be talked to about U.S. policy and security matters, I presume. So they're unemployed in their retirement. They're not big shots anymore. Maybe Putin will hire them. Oh no, maybe the Ukrainians will hire them. The Trump administration has placed two top security chiefs at the U.S. Agency for International Development on leave after they refused to turn over classified material? They're helping village people. What classified material? See, that's what I'm getting at. What classified material? Who are they spying on for our safety? After they refused to turn over classified material in restricted areas to Elon Musk's government inspection teams, a current and former U.S. official told the Associated Press on Sunday. Members of Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, I call it Doggy, known as Doggy, eventually did gain access Saturday to the aid agency's classified information. You mean, which includes intelligence reports, the former official said. Trump orders bombing. Hang on. Yeah, there it is. Trump orders airstrikes against ISIS in Somalia. Hang on. Just hang on. I haven't done this. USAID Somalia. I didn't spell that right. United States Agency for International Development.gov, Somalia. U.S. Agency for we just bombed the terrorists there. Oh! How did they get the intelligence? I'm guessing. Despite the many challenges, Somalis are forging a promising path forward. USAID supports Somalia's aspirations for durable, stable democracy and prosperity. Humanitarian assistance. I mean, we give them food? USAID Somalia fact sheet. Let's take a look at it. I'm clicking on it. Come on. Where's the fact sheet? Where's the fact sheet? Too highly classified for me to read? Members of Congress from Somalia. Omar Ilhan, a representative from Minnesota, born in Mogadishu, Somalia in 1982. Let's get back to the original thing. This is what started it all. USAID website goes dark as Trump reportedly plans to shift agency under State Department. Why would they? The website for the U.S. Agency for International Development, maybe that guy's from Somalia, went offline Saturday evening amid reports that the Trump administration was preparing to curtail USAID's independence by placing it under the direct oversight. Now we're getting down to it. Who do they answer to? If they were collecting security information, it looks like they were answering to the CIA. Where else would they be disseminating the security intelligence collection to? I'm guessing, I don't know. I thought they were in how you grow seeds. Here's some money. Oh, you need to build irrigation systems? We'll show you how and help you finance the start of it to get your local agriculture going. Classified intelligence? Well, in Somalia, that would be to know whether there's any ISIS down in those places taking some of the money, disguised as local poor farmers or putting guns. So let's do that search on USAID again. I'm just picking a news item that surprised me. Despite the many challenges, Somalia is forging. Okay. See, they know that a U.S. Embassy in Somalia, USAID, work in Somalia addresses. Oh, I see. I put USAID and they, because my last one was Somalia, they added in. Addresses key challenges by supporting peace building and security information retrieval and national reconciliation initiatives, ISIS, building the capacity of governing. I'm not interested in that. Why don't we do the search I want? United States Agency for International Development, the U.S. agency, well, that's propaganda. Wikipedia. Oh, here we go. Now, this was updated 2 hours ago. See it? This web crawler retrieval by Wikipedia workers, right on the Hut News, was retrieved 2 hours ago, so let's see what it is. There's the handshake. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is an independent agency. Oh, they have almost cabinet level ranking. Independent agency of the United States government that is primarily responsible for administering civilian foreign aid and development assistance and classified geopolitical information. Why would you need a security clearance if you weren't in the spying business too? Independent agency? Well, that explains the other thing. Now they're being shifted under the State Department. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who? Secretary of State Department. Who's in charge now? Who heads State Department? Marco Rubio. He's been confirmed. Oh, so now USAID, that was a independent spy agency, now has to answer to Marco. Oh, see, we're fleshing out the picture. We're getting to understand what's going on. This is a governmental reorganization so that the people at the top like the president can ask a simple question and nobody will say you don't have the to know. Well, let's see how big they are. With a budget of over $50 billion, USAID is one of the largest aid agencies in the world. That means they can help a lot of people at the local level, and they can buy a lot of people. Do high-ranking officials in foreign countries, are they bribable? I'm thinking of something that a person I knew in Mexico who was originally born in Poland told me about his family and how much they paid a certain person that eventually became the president of Mexico, how much they paid each to become suddenly Mexican citizens. Money with US dollars in unmarked white envelopes. $50 billion. And you have to have a security clearance to see their USAID is the largest official aid agencies in the world and accounts for more than half of all U.S. foreign assistance, the highest in the world in absolute dollar terms. Congress in 1961 passed a law which reorganized U.S. foreign assistance programs and mandated the creation of an agency to administer economic aid. It was established by John F. Kennedy, who sought to unite several existing foreign assistance, reorganization under the president's wish as he came into office. Kennedy was big on international things. USAID became the first U.S. foreign assistance organization whose primary focus was long-term socio-economic development. Did Kennedy do the Peace Corps? See, my mind is wandering, but I'm pulling them all together. Oh, I got it right. See, if you're old enough, you can remember a few things. Do you see how this would go along with that other thing? So it was in the post-World War II period, substantial American aid went to bombed out Japan and bombed out Germany, West Germany, and other places to help rebuilding, but they then got back on their feet. So then the emphasis shifts from them to other places in the world where there's potential trouble on the horizons, to prevent things like new Vietnams. Go look at the economic history post-World War II of Vietnam. I knew a guy who was on a boat in the French Army on the way to Vietnam, but the boat turned around because the French were defeated at Dien Bien Phu. You have no idea what that battle was, right? There you go. That's what Kennedy did. And I mentioned the Peace Corps. Have I ever known people in the Peace Corps? Sure have. So this basically was founded in parallel at around the same time by the same president, potentially for the same purpose. Serve boldly, Peace Corps volunteers put their purpose, passion, and skills to work in partnership with host communities in more than 60 countries. Browse opportunities. Now I'm wandering, but it's part of the bigger picture. If we hear something about the Peace Corps, don't be surprised. It's a foreign arm of the United States government. Oh, there's virtual service pilot, never heard of that. Peace Corps response, don't know that. Peace Corps volunteer. Let's figure out the countries. Uganda. Uganda. There's somebody before Congress now. Kash Patel. He was born Kashyap Kash Patel was born in Garden City, New York, to Indian Gujarati, Patel is Gujarati, northwestern India or southwestern Pakistan. To Indian Gujarati immigrant parents. His parents first moved to Canada in the early 1970s from Uganda in East Africa, where they were facing ethnic repression and potential slaughter by Idi Amin. Uganda. Do I remember that? I sure do. I remember the Israelis that were murdered there too. So we're helping Uganda. Well, things are very different now in Uganda. All of these are Uganda. Oh, Guinea. But that's Africa too. Guinea. Vietnam. Peace Corps in Vietnam. The Gambia. Do you remember maybe a month and a half ago I published a video where I met a guy who was doing Google cable over there in Ramseur, and he was from the Gambia, Africa, West Africa. Gambia, Dominican Republic. I thought baseball players came from there. What's the other country on that island? The Dominican Republic's quite an okay place, but not the other place. Dominican Republic, Nepal. A friend of mine that I was in graduate school served in Nepal in the Peace Corps. It just reminded me. You know what? He eventually worked for USAID. He was a maize geneticist, crop breeder. Did very well, but he had that international stuff in him. And he eventually worked with, among other agencies, USAID on some of his projects. He got funding. Yes, I've known a lot of people. Zambia. Have I ever met somebody from Zambia? Yes. Ghana. I told you, when I was 1966 in Tunisia, I met a guy that had just come from Ghana, finished his Peace Corps thing there. I'm very international. So what caught my eye was this. The website for the U.S. Agency for International Development went offline Saturday evening amid reports that the Trump administration was preparing to curtail USAID's independence by placing it under the direct oversight of Marco Rubio. And you can test it out yourself by simply put in USAID and choose the United States Agency for International Development in Google search, and then there's the link, and you click on it, and they're gone. You better learn to heal, doggies. To doggy. You doggies need to learn to heal to doggy. D-O-G-G-I-E-S, D-O-G-E. Or else you may be suddenly retired. USAID classified information? Could a USAID be running cover operations for somebody like the CIA? I'm just an idiot running my mouth. Classified information? They help people learn how to grow beet seeds. Steve AB4, just reminiscing a little bit too, saying see you in 73. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm looking at this. Error, name not resolved. www.usaid.gov, server IP could not be found. Error, name not resolved. This means that they went so far as to revoke the registration, not just turn the computers off. What does error not resolved mean? Wait a minute. The error not resolved typically indicates a problem with your internet or computer. For example, the website may have moved to another IP address and your browser's getting an outdated... No, wait a minute now. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hang on. See, DNS is domain name service. You say something that a human can read, but the computer doesn't understand that. So you send it to a service, in my case to Google DNS, and they give the actual address as numbers. So I want to ping. I want to see if the computer's there. Now it's going to use the domain name service. Ping request could not find host, www.usaid.com. Please check the name and try again. Now there's another service offered by Microsoft, NS Lookup. And what you do is you say NS on the Windows command line, you say NS Lookup, then you put the www.usaid.gov, and it uses, in my case, 8.8.8.8, which is the Google DNS, and it says dns.google can't find usaid.gov, non-existent domain. So the reason why you can't go to that website is not only have they turned the computers off, oh, this fits in. This fits in. Let me show you. See, I'm brainstorming it. This fits in. Now I understand. All right? Now hang on. United States Department of State, which is now under Secretary Rubio. So if I take www.state.gov, which is what the address is there, www.state.gov, United States Department of State.gov. Whoop, I didn't mean to click on that one. And I'm doing a ping, like I did to USAID, ping. And it comes back immediately with the IP address. So Google resolved it instantly and referred that call to the actual IP address by letting my computer do it, and the ping facilities turned on saying, yes, we're here. Now, why am I doing this? That's the Department of State. So what's going to happen is I'm conjecturing that the USAID program, if it continues with that name and not is renamed to something else, now under the Department of State and Secretary Marco Rubio, will be a subdomain because it's no longer an independent government agency. They're going to make the dogs heel. My guess is that's the way it's going to look. Why don't we try to ping it? Just for the fun of it. Didn't I get it? Ping request could not find that host. See, it's the same no answer as for the original. But my guess is that when USAID comes back online, it will now be addressable in this manner, as a subdomain, not an independent domain. Check me out when it happens. I'll be following to see when USAID comes back online. Steve AB4L, just an idiot running his mouth, following the news and having some fun and trying to figure it out, saying see you in 73.